Hello you, how are you folks? It's Sunday night and we're here for a companion chronicles for your listening delight. It is the Third Doctor and Caroline John's Wgho in Shadows of the Past. We have Wgho regaling a tale to a unit soldier within the vault facility of a time with John Pertwee's Third Doctor. We have somewhat of a twist ending, which is somewhat predictable, but at the same time, nevertheless, not so satisfying, whereby you go, ooh, this is good. A nice wee tale, nevertheless. And we have aliens galore and some puddle monster which can shapeshift and, you know, make you shocked, despite the fact. Before we get to that, let's get to this. It is your panel for this evening. Joining us this evening, it's Kieran. How are we doing, Kieran?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good to see you, mate. All the way from NYC, Mr. Almadina. Well, how goes it?
Hey, now, how you doing, everybody?
All the way from Techico, lamenting daylight savings time. It's Texas Timber. Timber, how goes it, man?
What time is it?
Who gives a shit? I've been drinking all day. All the way from Tottenham, Mr. Philip Archer. Phil, how goes it?
Good evening and welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. I'm glad I got your approval. All the way from down under, he has the thunder. It's a wee bit later for him on a Monday. How's it going, AJ?
Hey guys, how are you going?
Good to see you, mate. And all the way from the inner sanctum of his inner mind, Jake, how goes it?
Hello, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yes, never, reject this guy in a restaurant for a drink, by the way. He'll kick your ass. So, yeah, anywho, Shadows of the Past. As related, folks, Wgho, John Pertwee's Third Doctor, an outing for unit, an alien invasion, and somewhat of a supposed backstabbing outing for the Doctor. Not quite, and you're about to find out why. Well, Shadows of the Past, Caroline John.
It's a good story to listen to, and afterwards you find out how sad it is because, of course, we no longer have Caroline John with us to do any more audio stories. And in a way, you could say this story sort of started off why Liz was a little bit upset with Unit. That's why she left like that, even though there is no definitive story with that she gave it, turning a resignation like that.
Collateral damage, I believe the phrase.
Yeah, you can say that, but I meant like her having talking with the brigadier like that. Also, you can tell that this takes place right after the Silurians, because the Doctor and the brigadier are still not really talking to each other. And at the ending of this story, Sergeant Benton comes in the next thing, so that you tell what is between it. Is in between them after the Silurians before the next one. So, but but everything is from her point of view, from when the invasion came in, and how her and the Doctor was investigating the UFO that crashed.
Yep.
And how her reaction was when the Doctor just took off away from her and headed to the TARDIS, and her still had to investigate like that. And of course, her talking with Marshall, doing the story like that we find out, by the end, what happens to him and how it continues like that. So in a way, it's a great story, especially when a majority, is centered on her. So it stood out real well. It's a shame that there's no follow-up to this story, but I would love to know if anything else would have happened with Marshall, just to see if did he stay the way he is, or did he develop any, you can say, abnormalities because of the transformation like that.
Yeah.
Did anything happen afterwards? So it's a shame we won't be able to know about that. But this story really stuck out. I recommend it to anybody to listen to it.
Okay, good man. Thank you, Timbo. Shadow of the Past. What do you recommend?
I thought it was a good story. Yeah, it's obviously early days for the Third Doctor, and I think it was good that they tapped into that whole business of him and the Brigadier not really getting along, because the Doctor's kind of stuck there, and he doesn't he's still like trying to figure out what to do with himself. I mean, because he really wants to get away and go back and do what he does, but he doesn't know how. I mean, that power's been taken away from him. So I think that's good that they give you a little bit of that background, that history in the story of the relationship of the Doctor and the Brigadier, because as you know, later on they're quite tight buddies, you know. I mean, as their story progresses. This is that era that's unlike any other, basically, because it's the Doctor on Earth, and he's all he can do is just save them from invasion and whatnot. I think it's a bit of a cop-out that they call the Time Lords in to fix it, though. I think that
did they fix it in a way? I mean, they were humming and hawing at one point.
Twist their armor a little bit and say, well, you're here, you're already interfering anyway, or something. I don't know. It seemed like it would be better if the Doctor had worked it out himself. But then on the other hand, like Will said, this story really focuses on Liz Shaw's point of view throughout. Yeah. So I mean, I think maybe that's why they wrote it that way.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, in general, it's a good story. It's very much a product of its time. That's what I'd say.
Okay, good for the 70s. Okay, dokie. Kieran, Shadows of the Past.
I very much loved this story, a very gripping story, which really homaged back to season 7, which of course it sets straight after the Silurians, just like Will said. Caroline John is the star performer of this audio with her sparkling performance. Liz Shaw, a sense of commanding thoughtfulness and kindness performance is something truly astonishing. And that's the best thing about the Companion Chronicles, actually, is hearing the classic companions and for it to give them a chance to shine, which is one of the main reasons why I love the Companion
my
Chronicles.
image number on your phone.
I don't know if you're hearing that.
Sorry?
On you go.
The plot itself I really loved. It was dark, rough, and very well scripted. I really liked the alien creature, the Mim, which I thought was a great creation, a creature that was a very terrifying creation by Simon Gurrier. And speaking of Simon Gurrier, he does an excellent job, like I said, at capturing the essence of season 7 with this story. This is a really, really good unit story, which actually does feature the Third Doctor, and one I think most people should definitely try out because it's a hidden gem from the Companion Chronicles range.
Next we hear from AJ. Hit it, AJ.
Yeah, I didn't mind the story at all. I liked how it sort of picks up from with the Silurian part. You know, the Doctor and the Brigadier still on the outs with each other and all that. They also mentioned how actually, in a way, Liz Shaw herself is quite brilliant in the story, even though in previous Doctor Who stories she's sort of quite underused. You know, yes, Doctor, no Doctor, here's a test tube Doctor. I like the Mim as well. I mean, they're a very versatile creature. I mean, I like to have seen them on TV in a story. I don't know, they were never used on TV, were they?
Well, not back then. Maybe now with the special effects we got now, they'll probably be able to use it.
I would like to have seen something like that. But overall, I think the whole idea of invasion of the body snatchers sort of story to it was really well done. And the twist ending as well, which we'll mention later, that was brilliantly done too. I like that. So, yeah.
Next, we hear from Texas Tim. Hit it, Tim.
I've already given my bit.
My apologies. Go ahead, Jake.
This story for me, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to, since I'm a big fan of season 7. But as an audio, I don't know how to put it. I thought it was good, but it wasn't as good as some of the other stories in season 7 for me. But saying that, Caroline John was splendid in it. I think it's the best audio I've heard of her in it. I liked the emotion in certain scenes. I liked the nods to like the bloke from Tour of the Autons, the bowler hat Time Lords. I liked that the Mim had a history of the Time Lords. So the Doctor sort of already knew who they were, sort of thing. So he had like a little inkling on how to sort things out until he like what happened to him, obviously. And I don't know if it's the same for all of you, but at sort of the beginning, I got X-Files vibes. That's all the vibe that I had for most of this story. It felt very X-Files to me, like with double gang. I don't know how to explain it. That's how it felt for me, and that's how I really thought of it, really.
Okay, next we're going to hear from Philip Archer. Hit it, Phil.
All right, thank you all. I will echo what everybody else has said about this story, and I will say, as Jake just said, Caroline John's delivery of the story is what keeps me hooked to the story, because she's very good at narrating what's going on, and the parts where she's talking about the horrifying aspects of the min, where it's attacking people and making her feel like she's covered in stink and smell and all that kind of aspect.
Covered in stink.
Well, yeah, the stink of the vial of the min. I like how she was portraying that in her storytelling. The min itself, am I wrong in saying that we've already had a story with the min from Big Finish? I don't know which doctor.
Yeah, this one.
No, they've been before. I'm sure they have. There's been another story with them. I think it's the second Doctor.
I'll just look.
Okay.
I think it's the second Doctor story, but I can't.
All right.
But otherwise, yes, the story, as everybody said, is very well paced. I like how it's kind of like a X-Files UFO kind of Quatermass kind of thing. And the clever trick with is it Marshall, Sergeant Marshall? I like
Hang on. Who played Sergeant Marshall?
His name is Lex Shrapnel.
There you go.
I like the twist of him, but I saw that coming when I first initially.
Speaking of coming, yeah, okay, yeah.
Don't go there, Graham. don't even go there. Not this time of night. Yeah, so I saw it coming when I first heard this when it first was released. I knew that was going to happen.
To be fair, even the fact that anybody could have saw that coming, it didn't make it any less an impact come the end of the story.
You're right. It's very good. And the fact that he's asking her out on a date after, at the end of it, on a dinner date, it's like, do you really want to go out and dinner with him?
Well, to be fair, even dead.
No, Phil, I didn't even say. He said he remembered that he wanted to ask her on a date after this thing was happening. That's what he remembered. He wasn't asking her a date. Remember, a lot of time has passed since that happened. So, we don't know how many. It could be like a bunch of years. So she's not going to look the way she did when that story took place. So.
Remember, from a short point of view, this is like years later. So.
And I also like the fact that they did the Terror of the Autons Time Lord thing before Terror of the Autons. If you know what I mean. If you put that story in season 7, then it's before season 8.
Yeah, it is before because that guy with the bullet head returns in the Terror of the Autons.
Well done. If you put that story in season 7, it's before season 8. Very sound logic there.
What I'm trying to say. Anyway, overall,
what was that, Jake?
They are in the Library of Alexandria, the William Hartnell one.
Oh, that's where it was. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well, there you go. You learn something every day. AJ, did you sort of me? I stepped away. Did you get your 2 cents in?
Yeah, he did. You're the last one to give you 2 cents.
Okay, dokie. Thanks for taking over there, Will. And for myself, yeah. Somewhat of a disorganised cast this evening, folks. I enjoyed it. The men were interesting. Caroline John regaling something somewhat later in life, much like the William Russell one we covered a few weeks back, was a nice twist. Like well alluded to, the revelation at the end was somewhat predictable, but it didn't detract for the story, and it was still a very enjoyable outing. The Doctor getting, I don't know, was it double ganged or?
Yeah, basically
copied or duplicated. Yeah, different. Where you think by the cliffhanger that he's sold out the human race. That nice twist. Albeit it wasn't going to run through for very long within part 2 of the story. The Brigadier is irritable as ever, with his method of things. Shoot first, ask questions later. Hence why this thing's after the events of the Silurians. No bad out in 55 minutes. It might be for you guys. Give it a listen. Right, guys. Anything stand out for you within this tale? Kieran?
My favourite moment would probably have to be the cliffhanger for part 1. For me, was like I said, would have to be my favourite moment. It was actually such a jaw-dropping moment when we find out that the alien who is disguised as the Doctor gives that command for the Mims to invade the Earth because their defences are down. Earth's defences are down, and the Brigadier and unit open fire on this creature who is disguised as the Doctor. I thought that was a great piece of writing by Simon Gurrier.
Okay, champion mate. Timbo, anything for you?
Well, it was interesting that it was very graphic that the alien was splattered all over the inside of his cockpit. They don't usually go there. And when they revealed that, it was kind of like, oh wow, that's kind of heavy. But But it ended up being a ploy that the alien used to disguise the fact that it was invading. I mean, I thought that ended up being more clever. But the idea that you do this on television, I don't know you'd be able to do that kind of thing. You have to.
Not in the early 70s. I don't know if you got away with that now. But I like Phil's analogy when it comes to queer mass. AJ, anything for you?
Yeah, I liked it in the first part where Liz is working out the trajectory of the ship where it came from, and she's pacing it out, like almost putting her on par with the Doctor in this story, which I thought was brilliant.
Okay, mate. Yes, there'll be no passing of test tubes here today. And as for Marshall asking her out on a date, I bet Beavers was pissed. Well, how about you,
Well, of course, I liked how much when Liz, you tell, but you said earlier how she was getting a little bit dissatisfied, as always, agreeing with the Doctor and passing him test tubes like that, and of course, her starting to say maybe I might have some feeling towards him and maybe date him like that. Of course, that never was going to happen. So it was I know, because we remember after she left, we don't know if that character ever got married or anything like that. So it was a good way for her to pick up after the unit like that. So it would have been a little bit cool.
It was interesting they never went there with Liz, whereas with Joe, they were always trying to shove her off with Mike Yates, like, oh, she's got a date with Mike or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Phil, how about you, mate?
My favourite part of it is always the bit where after the initial battle with the Min in the laboratory, Liz goes away feeling really sort of like disgusting and horrified, and she's scrubbing herself in the shower or whatever, she's trying to get rid of the smell of the thing, and that was kind of harrowing for me to hear.
Was this after Marshall's supposed death?
I think.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. In the end,
it's just her reaction to the whole thing.
She's done with it. She was. I
like that very much, because the emotion she conveys just spot on with it.
Collateral damage everywhere. Soldiers, bodies.
Yeah.
What the hell have I got myself in for? Fair enough. AJ, how about you, man?
I already did.
Did you?
Jake's turn.
Oh, sorry, Jake. When you go, mate?
I should have said it earlier, I like the scenes where the relationship the Doctor and Brigadier after the Silurian incident, and because they played on it a little bit again in Call to Arms, the unit story, where the Brigadier always felt bad about it, and I also like the how independent Liz was in this story, because if you think about it, like in Spearhead from Space and other stories, she was quite not always with the Doctor, but she is more like separated from him in this story for me, which I like, because she's a proper strong female character, which I don't think we get enough in the new series.
Oh, here we go. Well, yeah, that's about to change, Jake, when the phrase "starring Jodie Whittaker" is slashed across your screen come October. Me, I enjoyed it. As I alluded to earlier, the whole Doctor being duplicated was all right. You knew it wasn't him coming to cliffhanger, but it was still interesting as opposed to how he done it. He spent a good portion of the story being knocked out actually in the bloody TARDIS, which is interesting. The bowler hat guy coming back or something out of the Avengers. Why not? like Steed with the bowler hat, the umbrella. He shows up obviously in Terror of the Autons, if you assume it's the same guy.
that's assuming that's what it says. They might be the same person. Yeah.
Might be the same man who alludes us to the fact that Roger Delgado's Masters on the list. So, nice wee cameo for him. But all in all, it's not a bad story, but you really get an insight into the mindset of Liz Shaw with a story like this when it comes to the unit and how she's just exasperated with all the death, despite the fact that they're doing good work, but people are dropping like flies here, there, and everywhere. So, hence why come after her first season, it's a case of I'm not passing you your test tubes anymore. I'm fucking off because I'm pregnant. I was banged up by the Beavers. But that's a story for another day. So,
banged up by the Beavers.
Well, I'll be damned. So there we go. No, not bad audio, folks. All right, guys, open mic portion of the cast. Anything else you want to bring up and get before we get this rated in the can?
Do we even did we get to even understand why the men was there? Was it just to invade, or was there a specific reason they were there? Come there for?
Just to invade.
To invade.
But they just to invade, and yet the Time Lords were like, yeah, should we get involved? Will we get involved? Nah, all right, we'll get involved.
Was that me or sorry?
No, you got me.
Well, I was just gonna say, it sounded to me like the mix was a bit off on this, like the speaking parts would sometimes the music or the sound effects would drop down when the voice came in. They don't usually do that. I thought they usually mix it a lot better. I don't know. Is that just me or did anybody else catch that?
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it personally. Anybody else? Any of that?
Certain bits, yeah, I heard it.
Well, that could have been an editing issue, but a mistake, I suppose.
Are you referring to when you had the battle scene?
It sounded more like a missing episode with narration. You know what I mean? Where like the voice comes in over it and they turn it down a little bit. Whereas this, they usually mix it much better, where the music and the sound effects and the voice flow well together. It's just a minor nitpick.
Yeah. Okay. Anything for you, Kim? No. All right, AJ.
Yeah, for me, in the second part of the story where Liz says they returned back to London and she mentions that she can't see the stars because of the light pollution, but she mentions before that it was raining. Wouldn't the clouds from the rain block the stars?
Someone have a word with the writer. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just...
No.
The rain passes quickly though over there, doesn't it? Like, I mean, this is like...
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good point. Anything else, guys?
I like how they also say that the Doctor's still trying to get off Earth, and he's using any kind of opportunity to try and get off the bloody planet. So when he goes to the moon spaceship...
Well, that was season 7 Pertwee, wasn't it? I mean, it's like...
Yeah,
okay.
cool, yeah.
Can I use this rubber band? Will it work? No? Okay, yeah, I know. So, yeah. All right, cool stuff. Is that us, guys?
Well, it gives you that feel of the time where the Doctor and the Brigadier don't necessarily trust each other, and Liz isn't sure quite either because she's new there as well. So when you get to that cliffhanger at the end of episode 1, you're like, oh, could it be? You know, because he wants to get off the planet no matter what. Yeah. So he might use an alien that comes by to do it.
That's the only thing, I guess. He wants out of there, and would he go that far? The answer is no, but you just never know. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, somebody's have to go watch Ash vs. Evil Dead, so I guess it's that time again.
All men realize if you're not good at cleaning, don't have sex on the sofa.
Oh my God.
If only the 5 people that watch this podcast knew what the hell you were referring to.
Exactly.
With that, guys.
Never mind. Don't worry.
Yes, I can give yourself away there, Phil. Shadows of the Past. Caroline John. Okay, Kieran, what do you give this out of 10, buddy?
I'll be giving this one a 8 Mims out of 10. A very explosive unit story, which I wouldn't mind giving another listen to in the near future. Any unit fans should definitely try this tale out.
Okay, 8 Mims out of 10 for another tale in the 1970s. Thank you, mate. All right, Philip, break out the lemon juice. What do you give this out of 10?
God, I can't say that word. I'll give it 10 Liz Shaw's.
10 out of 10. Ooh.
Yeah, I do love the story. It's one of my
High praise for the late great Caroline John. Okay, thanks, mate. AJ, what's the number from Down Under?
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It was a good story, but there are a few small things here, like the sound and whatnot, like Tim said. So.
Okay, Timbo, what does Turkey go say, mate? What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's very good, but I'm with AJ on this one. I'm going to give it 8.5.
Okay, fair enough. Still an admirable score. Jake, what's the number from you, mate?
I'll be giving it a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, somebody's the voice of contraire in the room. Okay, fair enough, mate. Still an admirable number, and shut at you. Nobody asked. Well, what's the number from NYC, mate?
Originally, I was going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, since I just remember that Lisa Bowman did direct the story. So.
Oh, here we go. Shout out to your buddy, Lisa. Well, you know, world's got a Woody, and all's good with the world.
And I know how to clean.
And he knows how to clean. Shout out to her pal, Lisa. Yeah, she does a good job. And for me, I'll split the difference with a lot of these guys here this evening. I'll be an 8 out of 10. Good outing for Liz Shaw. One of, I believe, 7 or 8 audios ago before she passed away. It's always good to have a female Liz Shaw stories in the archive. So with that, thank you, Big Finish. Shadows of the Past, 8 out of 10. And with that, guys, done, dusted, and finito for the evening. And it just leaves us to divulge what we'll be tackling next week. Philip, it's Tom Baker and Louise Jameson, and
we're tackling the latest Tom Baker and Louise Jameson box set of The Fourth Doctor, and the story is called The Sons of Caldor.
Yeah, don't listen to him. We're tackling a story within that relevant box set, not all fucking 4. So yeah, The Sons of Caldor. Yeah, so we'll give that a listen. Season 7. I'm not sure which story number, but it's one of the first 4 stories. Number one. So there you go. It's the first story within the latest box set released last month, or in January. So we'll give that a bash. We'll see how we go. Please check out our buddies in the wonderful wackety world of the YouTube. You've got the guys and dolls that Geeks Assembled. You've got Dr. Freedom and his news broadcast, and his Omega Files, as well as the Adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric. You've got Johnny Blues. You've got Sammy Carter, apparently. You've got Mike Shannon whenever he's online. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. My team get gubbed again. I'm off to watch Ash versus Evil Dead and try and cheer myself up. And with that, be excellent to yourself, folks, and each other. We'll see you next week, and fuckity bye. Good night, guys.